The moment I stepped into the dark hallway, the house seemed to breathe around me. Every creak of the floorboard echoed like a warning, like it knew what was coming. I could hear your shallow breathing from the bedroom, pretending to sleep while the lies of the past months weighed heavier than the walls that confined us. Tonight, I wasn't just leaving. I was vanishing, and you would never suspect the storm I carried. My hand trembled slightly as I slid the black box under your pillow, the weight of what it contained heavier than any suitcase, heavier than any truth you had yet faced. You would wake up tomorrow thinking I had simply left, but what awaited you would destroy the foundations of every memory you clung to. 3 weeks ago, the suspicion had begun. A smile that wasn't mine. A perfume that wasn't mine. I didn't act immediately. I waited, silently observing, letting your every move betray itself. And then I installed the camera, the tiny, unnoticeable eye that would watch every lie you whispered in the dark. I remember the first recording, your laughter, soft and intimate, not for me, not for our life. The sight of you smiling at someone else's words, someone else's touch, was more poisonous than any confrontation could ever be. The camera didn't judge. It simply captured your betrayal with perfect clarity, and I collected it like firewood for the storm I was about to unleash. Every night, I watched you through that lens, unseen. Every touch, every whispered promise to another, every stolen moment of affection that should have belonged to me, it was all there. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I remembered the words you had told me months ago, "What you don't know can't hurt you." I smiled then, bitterly, because the truth doesn't stay hidden forever. It waits, patient and inevitable, and tonight it would be delivered like a bomb with no warning. The recordings weren't the worst part. What would break you was the final piece, the voice you never thought I could catch, the confession you unknowingly made to the air, to me, to yourself. The black box was more than a collection of evidence. Inside, carefully wrapped, was a letter. My last words, my heart bleeding across each line. I didn't write it to plead. I didn't write it to accuse. I wrote it to make you feel every second of pain you had caused me, to make you confront the mirror of your deceit when I would no longer be there to witness it. I described each night you smiled at someone else, each lie you dressed up in the warmth of your lips, each time your touch betrayed the bond we once had. The ink dried with my tears, though I never cried openly. My handwriting trembled because even in fury, the love I had for you refused to die quietly. When I opened the front door, the chill of the night cut through me like truth itself. The city outside was alive, indifferent to the collapse I was leaving behind. I walked slowly, deliberately, giving the shadows time to swallow me whole, because every step away was another step closer to freedom from your lies. I heard the ping of your message. "Where are you? Please come back. I can't sleep without you." The irony was unbearable. You were texting me while my heart was shattering silently behind the door. You wanted comfort from someone whose soul you had already desecrated, passion from another whose warmth I could never claim. I kept walking. I wouldn't reply. I wouldn't save you from the chaos you had created. By the time you woke tomorrow, I would be a ghost. The bed would be empty, the phone silent, and the black box waiting under your pillow like a landmine of truth. You would see your own voice betray you, your own lies staring back at you in high-definition clarity. You would realize the love you claimed to give me had been shared elsewhere, whispered to another, nurtured in secret. The box contained every moment, every breath, every stolen night, and at the very end, the recording you would hear, your own words to him, spoken with a tenderness I never received. The cruelty of that truth would pierce deeper than the absence of my body beside you. The house would feel haunted tomorrow, not by ghosts, but by memory. Every corner would echo with the absence of my voice. Every shadow would remember the weight of my presence. The letter would fall into your hands, trembling with the honesty you could never deny. You would read it slowly, each word tearing at the fabric of your carefully constructed life, and the realization would hit like lightning. I had seen it all, recorded it all, understood it all, and I had chosen to leave. Not in anger, not in hatred, but in a precision of heartbreak you could never anticipate. And then, the ultimate revelation would greet you. Beyond the recordings, beyond the letters, beyond every single piece of evidence, was the truth that would annihilate every lie you had ever told yourself. I had not left because I wanted to disappear. I had left because I could no longer live in a house built on deceit. The recordings would prove the affair. The letters would prove my pain. But the final recording, the one you would find last, would reveal your own voice admitting what you would never admit aloud, that you never truly loved me, that your soul had belonged to another all along. The black box was not just proof, it was the reckoning, the final justice delivered with surgical precision. As the first light of dawn touched the city skyline, I was already gone. I had disappeared into a world that didn't know me, a life that hadn't been tainted by your lies. Behind me, the house waited, empty and deceptive, holding the black box like a time bomb. You would open it, hear the truth, and understand the depth of your betrayal, not through confrontation, but through absence. My heart, broken but resolute, had left its final message. Love had been real, honesty had been real, and pain had been deserved. You would learn that the hardest part of losing someone isn't the leaving. It's realizing that every moment you thought was real had been a lie. Tonight, I disappeared, but the truth remained. You would live with it, every heartbeat, every thought, every memory tainted by the evidence I had left. I had vanished physically, but the emotional storm I unleashed would never fade. When you pressed play, when you read my letter, when you finally listened to your own voice exposing the betrayal, the world you had built on lies would crumble. And in that collapse, you would understand. Love is not possession, trust is not given freely, and the pain caused by betrayal is the only justice some hearts can truly feel.